Hi there, Kerry from The Soap Coach here, and we are on week 6 of the Dog and I Revamp Diaries. I say week 6, episode 6, because there's been a couple of weeks where I've not done anything. Okay, so what's been happening? Right, you know when you're a child and you're waiting for something to arrive through the post and it just doesn't arrive day after day after day? That is how I'm feeling about my greaseproof paper logo printed soap wrapping. I know it's only been about 10 days, but it's still not arrived, so I'm getting a bit like, so anyway, hopefully that will arrive soon. So I still can't show you that, but it's in progress, which is the main thing. In other things that have been happening, I have finalised the drafts for my human product non-soap labels. So they have gone off to Dave with what I've done is on Canva, I've created an idea of how I want them to look and said to him, this isn't set in stone, the font's not right, I know it's not right, but it's just a rough idea. So he's got something to work on and it's easier for me to get that across in an image rather than describing it. So that's happening. The dog product labels have been finalised completely and they are on the printing machine as we speak. So I'm hoping to get a message to say I can go and collect those in the next day or two, which will be brilliant. I still haven't quite worked out how I'm going to manage the switch over between the old labelling and the new labelling. It will probably have to be phased in. Although I have come to the conclusion that I'm going to have to at some point just do a cut off. And I've got quite a lot of the old labels still, but it's just not doable because I have so many stockists and I can't get to the point where I'm sending my stockists different mixtures of products with different labelling on them or different styles of labelling on them. So that is a bit of an issue. I was hoping to make it more of a use up the old labels and then move on to the new labels, which obviously is better from a cost efficiency point of view, but it's just not going to be an option, I don't think, mostly, but I'll see how it goes. What else? Oh, I've made so my son's back from university. He's actually a chemistry student at uni, so he's perfect for helping me make products because he's used to weighing out lots of quantities of small items, and he's used to dealing with lots of chemicals. So the stuff that we use in shampoo bars, conditioner bars, all that kind of thing, that's nothing compared to what he deals with. So he was up here this week helping me make the first batch of products for the human range. And I really noticed going up from making just 1 or 2 shampoo bars up to making a bigger batch. That is quite a big step, and that's a system that I need to put in I need to put a system in place to make sure that that works really well every time. I have, the last thing, which is the biggest thing, is the admin. Now, if you're watching this and you've got no idea about the admin for starting a business or having a business with soap, shampoo, conditioner, anything that you put on your skin, it's classed as a cosmetic. And there's a whole raft of paperwork that you need to complete before you can sell those products. And mostly that is called a product information file, and it's not just one file, it's lots of documents that can be pulled from all over the place, and they all form part of this product information file. However, and to cut a long story short, because it's really boring for you otherwise, one big part of that is creating batch records, creating just a description of what the product is and how it's made. If I'll show you, it's probably easier actually. Let me share my screen. In fact, let me find the folder first and then I will share my screen. Right. Okay. Hopefully this is you seeing my screen, and you've got my Google Drive in front of you, and you can see I've had this open. My drive has got hundreds of folders in it, but I have got a folder which I've just called PIF Docs, the Dog and I. And inside that folder, I've then created subfolders. Now, this is how I'm doing it. It doesn't mean it's the right way. It's not the only way. You could do it on paper if you wanted to, although I wouldn't recommend it because the quantities of paperwork just gets silly and you've got to keep them for 10 years. So it's much easier if you can do it on a cloud, because then you don't run the risk of losing them either. So what I've done, as I say, is created subfolders here. And in the first one, I've put all my recipes. So how I've done it is, because I want to be able to have my son come and help me sometimes, maybe somebody else in the future, who knows. What I've done is created a separate recipe sheet for all of my different products. So these are the new human products that I'm bringing in, not dog products, just humans. And then so each one, I've got a copy of one here just so I could show you. Each one will have, so this is my Breeze body butter. It's got the details of the exact recipe here. Now obviously this one hasn't, because I'm not giving away my recipe. Then I write on here the allergens, and then I've got on here how my label will be, so that I can just cut and paste it if I need to across to anything. So I've got that for each of my different products. So that's in one subfolder, and that is my recipes. Then in my other, so here we go. Then I go on to batch records. So because I've got 4 different products, and 4 new different products, and 4 variations within each of those products, I've had to create 16 of everything, which is fine once you've done the first one, because you can cut and paste a lot of it, but it's just admin, it's boring. But again, batch records. So again, if you don't know, this is an old one actually. This is, right. So the reason why this is really old like this is because I've used my old, the fresh one, soap coach recipe to make my new Breeze soap recipe. Does that make sense? So this one actually goes back to, starts in 2020. And on here, I just put date and time of manufacture, ingredient supplier and batch numbers and expiry dates where I've got them. Then I give it a batch number. Now, as time's gone on, I've changed the batch numbers. But the reason for doing this is so that if you've got a problem with a batch of ingredients that you're using, you know you've got an audit trail and you can see what products you've used them in. And if you need to do a recall, you've got the details of what products that particular ingredient is in. So I've done batch records for every single product. So this is just the soap ones. We have got see, that's my soap ones. I've got all my other ones in here. And what I've done for these. See, I get really, this might be just me, I get really confused if I've got one folder with lots of different documents in it. So for me, I like to have one folder and then subfolders inside that. So this is probably a bit confusing to explain. So inside my PIF Dog and I have got my Dog and I recipes. I've got this is my Dog and I soap batch records, and they're on their own because they've been in existence for longer. And then I've just created this week another folder which is called product batch records, and inside that folder it's got more subfolders. So batch records for each of my products. So that's my body butters, that's my conditioner bars, lotion bars, and shampoo bars. And then because we have to keep things for 10 years, archived ones are in here. So these ones, I'm not making these at the moment. So those are all archived. So I keep them in a separate folder just so they don't get mixed up with everything else. So that's my batch records. That's also part of my PIF. Then I've got my ingredient docs. So these are all my SDSs, allergen declarations, IFRA, anything which I need the paperwork for. And I won't go into the ins and outs of it all, but there's certain ingredients that you use which you have to keep lots of paperwork for. And that's all of this. So again, that's a separate folder, but still inside my PIF docs. And that gets updated as and when things need to be updated. I might have to add new documents to them. So that's a work in progress as well. Then the final one is my PIF front sheets. So I haven't finished this yet, But what I do for each of my products is I just have a front sheet where I describe on there what the product is, what the recipe is, how it's made, my statement about not being tested on animals, and really just a very much a step-by-step what the process is for making that product. And in it I refer to my GMP, which is my good manufacturing practice document, which I haven't got in here yet, but which I have got it stored elsewhere, but I will put a copy of it in here as well, just so that it's all together. So that's taken me a fair while this week. That's been probably my main focus, is getting that done. My next job really is to finish making initial batches of everything. So I've got a small supply of everything ready, by which time hopefully all my packaging will be finalised and I'll have it all and I can start labelling everything up. Then I can finally send everything up to Kerry, who's doing my photography, so she can start doing imagery for me. And then I will need to move on to things like product descriptions, all of that, copywriting basically. So still a long way to go. I do feel like I am getting there, finally. It's taking a while, but we're winning. I think I'll leave you to it. It's a relatively short one this week, so hopefully that was an easy watch for you. Take care, and I'll be back soon with the next one.